guys, it's DC and welcome to the Soap Sanctuary. We are going to be discussing the top 5 soap opera villains
of all time. The top soap 5 soap opera villains of all time.
My name is JC. I am DC's evil twin. And it stands for Jasper Cornelius, to be quite exact. And I'm sure you guys may be wondering, where exactly is DC? He's somewhere a bit tied up somewhere. Where exactly he is, we'll get a little bit to that towards the rest of the video. But let's continue on with the video. There's no need to disrupt things, I would say. Don't forget though to like, share and subscribe to the video. Let's start off with our top 5 soap opera villains. We're going to start off with number 5, and that is, can you take a guess? It is the Blackmailer on Passions.
A confrontation with a blackmailer.
You're done ruining Teresa's life.
Could be deadly. Passions, NBC, daytime.
Now, we've covered this before in other videos. The Blackmailer on Passions was a different type of villain, really. You had Vincent and Valerie, who was one person, and it was like he was a man and a woman at the same time, exactly. And what made this a groundbreaking storyline on Passions was one of the best right before they got cancelled and then went on to DirecTV. But it was an amazing storyline, really. The reason why I put Vincent over at number 5, and not on the earlier list here, is because we didn't really see much time for his villain to develop out, and he hasn't come back from the dead. That's what makes a good villain. Don't forget that time when the Blackmailer took hold of Sheridan Crane. Take a look.
Don't come any closer. Or I'll slit her throat.
Now see, it was scenes like that that contributed to Passion's sense of unexpectedness. It was quite really fascinating. Let's go ahead and move on to our number 4. And this character has actually been, this villain I should say, has been on both soaps, both The Bold and the Beautiful and The Young and the Restless. And it is none other than Sheila Carter.
We're gonna be leaving now, Lauren. But I've got the gun right here under my coat. You feel it? That's right where it's gonna stay until we get outside. So I strongly suggest you don't try and scream or run when we go through the lobby, because if you try that, Lauren, it's gonna be the last thing you ever do. You got it? Got it. Good. Now we can leave on our little holiday.
Like the new digs. Now, Sheila Carter was a very amazing villain. She came back from the dead many times. From what I understand, Sheila was a villain where her and Lauren, their feud, I believe it began over Scott Granger Sr. And that's what started it over time. Let's go ahead and hop into number 3, which is Franco on General Hospital.
First rule, nothing is what it seems. Mirrors distort, ghouls abound, chaos reigns. Sound like fun? You'll have to abandon everything you think you know. Logic will not serve you here. Give yourself over to experience. But then again, you don't have a choice, do you? Not if you want to find that baby.
Now, what made that exciting was the fact that the storyline had all different twists and turns in it, like the way Franco was going. And I mean, I just remember like the end of the conclusion of the storyline, and then they go, "It's a mad world, y'all." Take a look.
No one knew me. No one knew me.
Look, up there!
Don't kill me! I know where the baby is!
Oh my God!
I find it kind of funny. I find it so sad. It's a mad world.
Now, what happened is that towards the end, we all know that Roger Howard came on to General Hospital as Todd Manning. But because of the whole Prospect Park lawsuit and everything, they had to bring him on as Franco, which is very weird. I kind of felt like it tarnished the legacy of that great storyline. But hey, what you gonna do? The man was on contract, he has to eat. I get it. So they brought him on as the recast, as a Franco recast. And honestly, it kind of worked, even though when you look at the Mad World storyline and who Franco is now, that's kind of really tough to be able to, I would say, differentiate the two, understanding Franco's history. If he was a serial killer to go into a family man, it was very tough, even though Roger Howard had the same role on One Life to Live as Todd Manning as a rapist, and they redeemed his character. So they did the same with him as Franco in General Hospital. So it was quite interesting, I would say, that they were able to do that, and I think they did with that the best they could, honestly. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2, which is Helena Cassadine, also on General Hospital.
Goodbye, Mother.
It was a test. I suspected you would fail.
Thanks.
Well, you didn't really believe that I would trust you with a loaded firearm.
Just kill me and let's get this over with.
All things in good time.
You bitch.
My dear, I do abhor betrayal. Kill her.
It was a ruthless, gutless character. General Hospital for itself is just known as having some of the best villains. They don't have the best villain of all time, which we're gonna get to in a little bit, but they're known for having some of the best villains. Now, for me, Cassadine is like this crazy family. So to me, I absolutely loved Helena Cassadine. She was a Cassadine matriarch. We got to see her when she was with Nicholas, all this other stuff. She was that type of person you didn't play with. I mean, we had Stephanie Forrest on Bold and Beautiful, but Helena Cassadine, she put her on notice. Now guys, let's go ahead and hop into our number 1 soap opera villain. And this guy has died, come back from the dead so many times, I can't even count anymore at this point. This guy is the soap villain of them all. Even Soap Opera Digest said he's the greatest soap opera villain of all time. Even after his portrayer died, his character still came back from the dead. That's how good it was. So guess who it is on the number 1 spot? Can you guess? The one and only Stefano DiMera. Days of Our Lives.
On Days of Our Lives,
Helena set out to destroy my life.
revenge is something he lives for.
Did you really think that you could get away with doing what you did to me?
Retribution is what he wants.
What's that?
The gas is everywhere.
The fun has just begun.
Now, there's no telling what will happen. Stefano returns. Days of Our Lives.
Now, as we both know, the Phoenix can never die until he did. Take a look.
Predictable to the very end. You are at heart a coward. Just like that banal dead husband of yours. May he rest in peace.
Gruesome as that scene was, even when the portrayer himself, Joseph Moscalo, also passed, that wasn't the end of it. Because why? He came back again and a microchip in Steve's brain, and thus was born who? Stefano. Take a look.
What do you think?
I suppose it will have to do.
Well, let's be real. Stefano should honestly be given like a Nobel Peace Prize, because this man, through Dr. Rolf, has been able to bring so many people back from the dead. Let's count the waves. Himself, I think at one point in time, Jack Devereaux, Will Horton, Vivian Alamain. God, I'm trying to think who else. I know there's some people I'm forgetting. If you want to forget, just let me know. I'm trying to remember who else. Oh man, who else? Who else am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody. Who am I forgetting? Oh man, but that man should be giving a Nobel Peace Prize. Well, really, Dr. Rolf needs a Nobel Peace Prize because he's that man in Salem. So it's got to be Dr. Rolf. But anyways, guys, those are like my top 5 soap villains of all time. Tell me, what are some of yours? And I'm kind of curious as to what is DC up to right about now. Why don't we go and take a look? Let's go see, shall we? Let's take a look, shall we? Alas, this is where you are. Look at you, so pathetic and wrapped up. You think that I wouldn't have known what you'd done all those years ago when you tried to exterminate me? But alas, here I am to take over the channel that you so graciously laid out for me. I'm quite appreciative, really, quite grateful. But now it is my time to finish what I've started. I'm sorry, dear brother. It's time to take you. It's time for you to die. What will happen in the next video? Will we find out what happened to DC? Find out in the next Soap Sanctuary. This has been Soap Sanctuary.